Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of equations and tables. This is standard 6.6b in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 18 of the Redesign Practice Online STAAR Test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a table here, shows a relationship between the number of hours that Tracy worked and the amount that she was paid. We need to find an equation that represents that relationship. So let's open up our graph draw feature. Make sure we got the transparency right, which we do. All right, so we've got two variables here. We've got H, hours worked, and P, the amount that she was paid. So let's go ahead and label these, because in 6th grade, we spent a lot of time talking about two different types of variables. So this is our independent variable, because we start with this. How many hours are you going to work? If you can work 8, 10.5, or 12 based on this table. And then our result is going to be our dependent variable, because the amount of money, and let me underline this here, the amount of money you earn depends on how many hours you work. So if you work 8 hours, you're going to get 120 bucks. If you work 12 hours, you're going to get 180. So that's one way to keep track of the independent and dependent variables, is the dependent variable always depends on whatever happens with the independent variable. So if we're looking at this relationship here, we need to look side to side. We need to look between the two different variables, the H and the P. Right, so 8 goes up to 120, 10.5 goes up to 157.50. So when we are increasing, we've got two options. We've got addition and multiplication to make it larger. So let's think. We're looking for the rule, basically. We've been doing rules for a while, so let's think 8 plus, and I'm just going to put question mark, equals 120. So how do I figure that out? Well, I can write a related sentence, right? I can write a subtraction sentence, since that's the inverse operation. Another way to think of it is you just subtract 8 from both sides. That's the thing you'll get into later on in middle school. But either way, you're going to subtract 8. That's going to be 118. Okay, so what if the rule is plus 118, right? Or actually 112. Let's make that 112, because 118 won't work. So how about 112? All right, so 8 plus 112, okay? So the question is does 10.5 plus 112 work? When I do that, I need to make sure I put a decimal after the 12, line it up, right? So that's going to be a 5, 2, 2, 1, 122.50. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to work, but we had to try. So if we are not going to add, we are going to multiply. So let's try that same thing. So 8 times something, I use the parentheses to denote my multiplication, equals 120. So we need to write a related sentence, right? So we can write 120 divided by 8. That's a fact family sentence. It's going to get us our question mark. Another way to think of it is inverse operation. If you divide both sides by 8, right, as long as you do both sides the same thing to both sides of the equation, you can get what you need to. So let's do 8 into 120. It's going to be fairly simple. That's 40, 15. Okay, so it looks like 15. All right, so 15. So maybe my rule is times 15. $15 an hour. That makes about sense. So let's try it with one more just to double check. So 15. Let's try it with that 12. So 0. And that's going to be 60. 120. Yep, that's 180. All right, so we did our H. Let's write it over here. Times 15. So you always end up multiplying that in the front, equals your P, which means our answer is A.